About Musicals. I'm Esme,
And I'm Nell.
and today we are going to be doing a Muppets Christmas Carol. Genuinely one of the greatest movies ever made. I rewatched it last week and I had a great time. But first, we have quite a bit of news, contrary to our belief that there was going to be no more news until the end of the
Last
year.
week we were fully like, yeah, we're just not gonna record any news. This is gonna be like just a content episode.
Just Christmas Carol? No. This is probably going to be half news.
Too much news.
Looking at this list, it's probably going to be like half news and then Christmas Carol. But next week we've got a probably very long episode coming at us.
Oh yeah. Year in review.
Got to talk about my one true love, Hadestown.
You need to send me your
I will.
list.
I'll send it probably today because I won't see anything between now and then, apart from Comet. But
The ones that you know you're seeing.
that's on the list. But first, we're gonna get into some news, and as we said, this is probably gonna take a minute. The What's on Stage nominations came out we're very late to this, last week.
It came out like the day after we recorded.
Which we knew was gonna happen. I've got the list up in front of me. Should I just go through the big categories quickly?
Yeah, give us the fun ones.
Performer in a musical: Georgia Carter for Mean Girls, Joe Foster for Why Most is Single, Miles Frost for MJ, Imelda Staunton for Hello Dolly, Lisa Tully for Why Most is Single, and Vanessa Williams for Devil Wears Prada. Best Supporting Performer in a Musical: Siobhan Anthol, Bangrala Nation. Oh, what? When was that? Interesting. Didn't realise that happened. Happy for them. Amy Bartholomew. I'm hungover. The Devil Wears Prada. Melanie LaBarry, Hadestown. Grace Moat, Mean Girls.
Yes.
Jaden Vin, Stella Express. Tom Zander, Mean Girls. Let's not do play. There was one Best New Musical, Babies.
Really?
Yes, I was shocked when I saw
That
Babies
was
come
this
out.
year.
I was watching the nominations come out. I had three thoughts. One, what does Donald Finn have to do to get an award for his performance as Orpheus? You uncultured fucks. Two, really, that was this year? And
Honestly, there's so much that I was like, that happened this year.
And three, unlike last year, where Best New Musical for the What's on Stage Awards and the Olivier Awards looked exactly the same, this year is going to look very different, I think.
Yeah.
Because this list is Babies, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which I still think is the frontrunner to win Best Musical at the Olivier's. Devil Wears Prada, which I don't think is winning any Olivier's after those reviews came out. MJ the Musical. Was MJ the Musical up for a score win?
I mean, I guess because the songs are good because they're MJ.
Yeah, but it's not original.
Yeah.
I have some questions. Mean Girls and Why Most is Single. And then Revival? I'm just going to read out and not give any input on because this category makes me want to go kill a bitch. So guess what was nominated for Best Musical Revival at the What's on Stage Awards?
What was nominated for Best Musical Revival at the What's on Stage Awards?
Dear Evan Hansen. Now shaking
That's so
her head.
stupid.
I know. Hadestown, Hello Dolly, Kiss Me Kate, Oliver, and Starlight Express. In an ideal world, two of those wouldn't be there. Not because I don't love Hadestown, but because I don't think it's a revival.
I think just based on the fact that it's in there, I hope Hadestown wins.
I have a feeling it's going to be Starlight because they got the most nominations.
Part of me thinks that's why they won't win it.
Split the votes.
Yeah. Because I think it's a thing of like, Hadestown didn't get many other nominations.
Yeah, I only got two, and trust me, I was nominating it for stuff.
So the people who like Hadestown
are
truly going to be like, fuck yeah, Hadestown, let me vote for that. Whereas, because I hate to say it, I'm pretty sure there is a big overlap of Hadestown and Starlight Express fans, myself and Esme included.
Again, we're going to talk about the time I went to go see Starlight Express at the end of your review. There's not, I don't think.
I think there is.
I think there is a slight overlap, but not massive.
But I think in the sense of the people that would vote for Starlight Express are more likely to vote for Hadestown. That isn't a slight against Starlight Express.
Yeah.
Like I do think it definitely deserved to be nominated for Best Revival.
It's also like a revival, you know?
Yeah, like objectively, it probably should win because it is a revival. It's a revival, and it's classed as one. And that makes me think it's gonna win.
They keep putting themselves forward for revival, and I just want to take those producers' hands and say, dream on.
I think, like, technically they're not allowed to not put themselves forward for revival.
Yeah.
Like, I think if they could, they would put themselves as original. or like new.
It just makes me annoyed because Denise Mitchell deserves all the awards for that score.
Yeah.
I was telling my friend she should listen to Denise Mitchell's solo work this week.
Please.
I'm on a deep, passionate rant about it. And then the next one that really shocked me, because this is indicative of the changing landscape of the West End. Best West End show. So traditionally, it's been your Phantoms, it's been your Les Misses, it's been Mamma Mia's rarely there. Like, you know the shows I'm on about that get nominated for Best Long Running Show, Best West End Show. This year, it was Cabaret, which has been there for a while, Hamilton, which has been there for a while, Les Mis, which has been there for a while, Mamma Mia, Operation Mincemeat, and Six. No Phantom.
I know. I feel like I let my side down there a little bit. I have, in the nicest way possible, because I don't know who might be listening to this, but I have an unfortunate feeling that Mincemeat might win.
Yeah, and then they're going to be really annoying about it.
And I get that if they win, it will be good again for them in America.
Again, I don't think stuff like the What's on Stage awards translate though.
But I think like having a list of awards you've won
for like the
always looks good.
I think for the tally of in England it won X amount of awards.
Like, yeah. And I think especially these kind of like bold awards where it's like best new musical, best musical in the West End.
Yeah.
It's like it's not some weird thing where it's like it won an Olivier Award. I was like, what the fuck is an Olivier Award?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, fuck you, first of all.
Because they don't translate to the mass public. Like when Hadestown came here, they marketed it as the Grammy winning.
Yeah.
They marketed it based on the Grammy instead of the Tony. Or I think they did Tony and Grammy winning. But the main one everyone knew was the Grammy.
Yeah.
I actually can't talk about that Grammy.
Whereas I think with like Olivier's, like you see very few shows that transfer over to Broadway from the West End describe themselves as Olivier nominated or winners. They'll probably throw it in, but it's like multiple shows over here will be like the Tony nominated. The
Tony winning.
Yeah.
There's something else I was going to say. Complete omission of Two Strangers. Which
is devastating.
I'm going to say this, and I didn't see Two Strangers. This is just what I've had in the cultural vibe I've been picking up on. I can see them getting acting nominations when the Olivier's roll around, because it's a two-hander, and that's very impressive, and they are very talented people. I cannot see it getting a score or Best Musical, if that makes sense. I think because it has just been a packed season. I think last year maybe it would have been a bit better. Would have felt a bit better.
Yeah.
That's just my cultural vibe that I'm picking up on. I could be wrong. We don't know. Up next, we've got some, I don't know how to describe it, just people being absolutely unhinged about this. Swept Away announced it would close after 20 performances. It was originally supposed to have closed by the time this episode comes out, but they extended it for 2 weeks over the holidays. And that, in conjunction with the Tammy Faye closing, made everyone do the... At this point, I feel like it's every 3 months. Oh my god, Broadway's dead.
Yeah.
It's not. We're just... Flops happen.
Like, I get it sucks, obviously.
It's bad.
But...
Like, it's not good that people are out of jobs.
But it's not, like, the end of Broadway.
No. It is also crazy how Brian, the business analyst, said that everyone who worked on Tammy Faye should have a dark mark next to their name.
It's so ridiculous and it's kind of funny. And I'm very glad at least that at least everyone I saw kind of came together to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, fuck you.
Being like, dude, that's ridiculous. They don't have any say in what they're doing, really.
Yeah.
And even then...
I kind of get where he's coming from. Like, at a very, very... Because it's what we talked about when talking about Tammy Faye. But is it the greatest representation of Tammy Faye? No.
No.
But, you know...
That ain't the casting crew.
That's not the response that you need.
No. And also, it was already closing.
Yeah.
You don't need to kick a horse while it's down, love. Anyway, fucking hell. This week's been really weird for news.
Yeah.
I've just looked at what I've got to say next.
Yeah. I'll let you take this one.
Okay, I actually have so many thoughts and feelings and opinions about this. Trisha Paytas to do a one-night only concert at the St. James Theatre on Broadway. Now, I woke up and I was hungover. It's Christmas, don't come at me for drinking too much. And I saw Trisha Paytas St. James Theatre and went, oh my god, she's going to play Norma Desmond. And, okay, everyone's entitled to their own opinions about Trisha. You can feel what she's like. She's done everything, you know?
Yeah.
You can't tell me that her Norma Desmond wouldn't at least be interesting.
Yeah. I think it really would be.
Jamie
And
Lloyd.
it's kind of...
Jamie Lloyd, give her a call. I'm being deadly serious.
It's one of those things that it would be such a bold choice. I can't see it going down well at all.
No.
Like, in general, I think people will hate it.
Yeah.
I think it would be a really interesting take.
It'd be a really interesting performance.
Yeah.
Can she sing that role? No. And that, again, Trisha, self-admittedly, has no talent.
Yeah. I think it would also be really fun to see that as, like, she's a silent movie star. Like, the second we can hear her, she loses her charm.
And also, it's like in this production, they have, like, Norma doing quite a bit of, like, influencer mannerisms.
Yeah.
So
I think it could be really funny.
Jamie
And, like,
Lloyd.
a really, really interesting.
Jamie Lloyd, call Trisha Paytas, please. You're the only one crazy enough to do this. Yeah, Trisha Paytas on Broadway. Happy for you, I guess. What else do we have? Star Kid is back in London. Lambert Jackson are doing another production of it, and they put up the thing to like tease it. And I was like, Lambert Jackson, I forgot about you guys.
Forgot these guys were still kicking.
Yeah.
It looked really like it was going to be a purely Hatchetfield thing.
Yeah, and they also like teased it for 2 whole days, and I was like, can you guys just announce it, please?
Yeah, I feel like the teasing was weird because Star Kid in it at least very much advertised itself as a Star Kid show in London. Everything you've seen this has seemed very Hatchetfield when everything it doesn't seem like it's gonna be a Hatchetfield thing at all.
No, I think they were
It's
probably
gonna be another
Cinderella
concert.
Castle as well.
Yeah, it's what I can't believe it's already been
almost a year.
I can't believe it's been almost a year already.
Yeah. And I mean, as to people who did end up getting tickets, but it was a fucking fight and a half.
We went through hell
to get tickets. The demand was there.
Yeah,
So
but this time there are a lot of tickets still remaining. Like we were looking.
They've sold a fair few though.
Yeah, it was saying on the website the first night has medium availability, and then the second night has good availability.
Yeah.
But they're like pretty close to each other. I think from my point of view, I don't really have the time or money to justify buying tickets for them right now.
Also, like, if I hadn't have just seen them a year ago.
Barely a year ago.
I would be more down, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I think we saw them, we got, like, to live our dream of finally seeing Star Kid live.
Yeah.
And I think if it came down to it, if it was, like, a week before the show, we were both like, hey, actually, we're both free. There are still cheap tickets available. I could see us going again.
Yeah.
For the fun of it. If we had the money and we could, like, but it's during our exams, near our exams.
Yeah,
I could see us going if there was an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, no.
Mm-hmm.
Love Star Kid to death.
Love Star Kid.
I don't think we're going to make it again.
No, I mean, we've seen it once. I'm not dying to go again.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Palladium, I've sequenced these 3 well.
Oh yeah.
Evita is the summer show for the Palladium.
Incredible.
I love Evita. I'm so excited, and it's Jamie Lloyd Evita. I will be there watching my Evita. I'm so excited. And this was basically confirmed because Andy can't keep his fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, I saw a lot of tweets being like, am I going crazy with this? Confirmed like months ago.
Yeah. No, he weren't supposed to say anything until like now. But there's also a lot of rumours about who's gonna like be playing Ava Perón, and that's very exciting to me. So, yes. And speaking of Evita, Patti LuPone! Patti LuPone went to go see Sunset Boulevard. I'm sure you've seen the clip of her saying that she loves it.
I have.
It is outstanding. Someone filmed Patty watching it in the theatre, and all I have to say is you are the bravest soldier around. Another massive piece of news for me, they did release more of the casting for Here We Are, the final Sondheim musical, and Jane Krakowski.
We might have to go.
I'm going. I was going regardless. I'm going to be serious with you right now. I was going regardless. I think you were very much like sometimes not like a god to what?
Sorry, I just saw that someone may have put something on their story. Oh my god, did he? Is it old and I've missed it? It was. Ben Platt was posting about Wicked on his Instagram story a day ago.
Benny boy.
But it's really funny. It was just like the post from the Wicked movie account being like 11 Critics' Choice Awards nomination, Best Picture, all of that. And then he's put that, and then simply, yup.
And I love you.
Ben, #1 Wicked fan, I love you, man.
Hi, my name is Ben Platt. My dad's Mark Platt. I'm the producer of Wicked. His dad's making money. What was I gonna say about here we are? Yeah, I think you were a bit on the fence about going to see Here We Are.
Yeah, it's never been like a musical that I have loved. I like it, but I've never even listened to it that much.
Also, it's weird. It's so weird.
Like, I kind of assumed I'd always end up going to see it when it was in London.
But
now I'm like, I actually need to seek out going to see this.
Yeah, no. And it's also got Jessie Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family and crazy
Love him.
casts.
It's an insane cast.
Speaking of Sondheim, Kevin McHale, Artie Abrams from Glee is going to be doing Stephen Sondheim's The Frogs in London. Why are we getting like celebrities doing Sondheim in London?
Who knows?
I'm not complaining. I will be there. It's like at the Southwark Playhouse. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
This next piece of news I had to fact check because I saw it on TikTok and was like, yeah, that seems right. Let me write that down. And then I came back to it and I was like, let me check that. That was actually right. Terrence Mann now
From Chuck Everlasting
only refers to as the guy in the yellow suit.
And it's the man in the yellow suit festival.
Okay, fine. He's going to be in Gatsby, The Great Gatsby, on Broadway. Oh, my man. I don't know what to say anymore. This is the casting choice of theirs that I really agree with. Yeah, and Laura Benanti, who I love. Yes, I did see the clip of her saying Zachary Levi should get fucked.
Icon.
Love you, Laura. She's going to be in the Little Women musical concept album, which I am very intrigued about now.
It's called it's not even called The Little Women, it's called Joe.
Yeah, I will be there. I will be listening. And
Laura Benanti, though, can I just also say that she, on TikTok,
yes,
a little Patti LuPone story.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Laura Benanti gets it.
I love her.
Why Mostly Single are putting out a cast album. I kind of assumed it was already officially confirmed that they were doing a cast album, but that was just me.
They had a lot of demos.
Yeah. And finally, great comments, slash performances this week. People are losing their minds over the set.
Or lack thereof.
There is a set. They put out production photos today. There is a set.
I think this is the thing. I always kind of assumed that there was.
Yeah.
It was because it was only people who hadn't actually been to see it yet that were like, where's the set?
Where's the set? Because we were all going off of a screenshot of someone's TikTok of the first preview battles, which is not the way to judge a set, guys.
Yeah.
We will report back next week once we've seen it in our end of year review. Okay, so it's Christmas. I'm tired. And so I've just pulled together some articles talking about Muppets. We're not going to go as structured as normal. Also, it's the Muppets Christmas Carol. Who cares?
Is there to say? It fucking slaps. Thanks for listening.
There's so much to say, actually. I have one point that I realised when I was watching it the other week. So, this is from The Guardian, talking about how it was made. Brian Henson, the director, would say, "My father Jim passed away in 1990. Yes, that's the correct year. He had done 3 Muppets movies, and I didn't want too much of a direct comparison between me and my dad. So I thought, let's try something different. Our agent, Bill Haber, said to me, The Christmas Carol is one of the greatest stories of all time. You should do that. While I was thinking about it, he called me back and said, I've sold it to the ABC TV channel. We set to work on the script. The Muppets are famous for questioning the status quo and anti-establishment reverence. So we looked at that and pointed it at Charles Dickens. Robin the Frog was going to be the ghost of Christmas past. Miss Piggy was going to be this black Lutheran. What is that word? Let me look it up.
Canadian?
Back in Alien? I think I know vaguely what that means. Let me triple check. Back in Alien meaning. Oh, okay. Just a bit drunken. Ghost of Christmas Present. And Animal was going to be the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. I would kill to see Animal be the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. We were going to do a romping parody. Then we stopped and we considered. Nobody has ever captured Dickens' prose and the wonderful way he describes scenes. So we put Charles Dickens in the movie. Who's the most unlikely character? Who's the least likely character to be Charles Dickens? Gonzo. So we made him this omnipotent storyteller with Rizzo, his pain in the neck sidekick. 95% of what Gonzo says in the movie is directly taken from the book. When I met with Michael Caine to talk about playing Scrooge, one of the first things he says is, I'm going to play this movie like I'm working with the Royal Shakespeare Company and never wink. I will never do anything Muppety. I'm going to play Scrooge as a utterly dramatic role and as if there are no puppets around me. And I said, yes, bang on. Filming was completely terrifying. I was 28. I did not feel ready to do the movie. I begged other people to direct it. Jeffrey Katzenberg could see that it was an emotionally fragile environment. He kept his production department far away from me. When Scrooge comes home, he's an angry, lonely man, and the first ghost shows up. I knew that I was going to scare people. There were kids crying in the cinema when the film was released in 1992. But when Jacob Marley and his brother Bob come out, they're singing the catchiest tune in the movie. You need to go to those dark places for the ending to be as joyous as it can be. Steve Whitmer, the performer of Kermit and Rizzo. I was taking over from Jim as Kermit. It was a little scary, as you might imagine. It was important not only to match the Kermit's character, but also his voice. And Jim and I don't sound exactly alike. The night before we pre-recorded the songs, I had a lot of trouble sleeping, thinking, I really want this to be good. This means so much to everybody. Then I had a bizarre dream that I was in a building of all white and Jim was there. He hurried over to me in a hurry to get somewhere quick and said to him, Jim, I'm really nervous about taking over as Kermit. He looked at me. Jim would do this thing where he would take your finger and put it on the bottom of his lips while he was thinking. He thought like this for a second and then said, it will pass. And then he walked away as very much a visit as it felt more like a visit than a dream. The feeling gave me so much confidence for the whole film. Bob Cratchit was a natural role for Kermit, a caring person who looked after people. He was almost playing himself. When I performed Rizzo the Rat, a character I'd originated and was doing for a dozen years at that point, which was all goofing around. It was a great release. When the director said cut, the characters would stay alive to the end of the scene. They got to continue to talk. How was that? Did we do a good job? Plus some moments I can't put out for public consumption. Various scenes came out of that improvisation. Kermit is an extremely simple puppet. He is just a piece of fabric draped over the performer's hand, and I haven't really worked on an expand to the amount of expression you can create with him. It's not just talking about Kermit. That's not important. So this is from Dave Grohl's the performer of Gonzo and Waldorf. By the time we got to work on Christmas Carol started, the really intense grieving was done. It was such a soulful piece. I wanted to carry the heart of Jim's work, the idea that people were basically good and there was enough in the world for everyone. It was cathartic. Brian was incredibly good right from the beginning. Michael Caine got halfway through the film before we found out it was Brian's first time directing. He could not believe it. The Muppets are a big psychodrama where you need to feed your personality and the fears through the characters. Usually I search for flaws in mine. I use comedy. When I tried to make it lovable, for example, the clumsy traveling Matt character and Fraggle Rock came out of me wanting to preserve my dignity and not be ashamed in front of people. Talking about Gonzo. And yeah, basically just saying, I've never been able to watch A Christmas Carol dry-eyed. The comedy deepens the emotion. It ambushes you. It remains my favorite film we've ever done by a good margin. It is such a powerful piece of literature. To be able to do it with our goofy characters and make it work is a huge, satisfying success. I'm going to read 2 reviews, one from the New York Times, obviously. We always have to talk about the New York Times, from the time it came out, saying it is a lively kiddies version of a Dickens Tales. One that really young viewers ought to understand. Michael Caine stars as Scrooge, playing a role enthusiastically and well. You can easily forget. It would have been easy to smile tearfully and sing Wherever You Found Love It Feels Like Christmas whilst in the midst of a Muppet crowd. But as the films target audience watches the opening credits, don't be surprised if Fozzie Bear gets a bigger hand than any grown-up could. Muppets. The Muppets undertaking their first major acting assignment is so scene-stealing that even if you grew up with a familiar story, you assume the status of celebrity guest. The great Gonzo narrates the films as Charles Dickens, and the suspiciously green-looking Bob Cratchit is Kermit the Frog. There is some degree of suspense in the wondering about whether or not Miss Cratchit, who you know will later turn up in the film, will be played by you-know-who, Miss Piggy, who is of course there, and deserves to turn up in a Muppet Madame Bovary one day. Let's do it, guys. Come on. That is another story. For this one, there are some fancy special effects that are also used to heighten the appeal. So that when Scrooge flies a la Spider-Man, when he returns to his childhood with the ghost of Christmas past, as many generations have known, the story works fine without such tricks. But this version strives to be elaborate. When the design of the ghost, Christmas past is small and eerie, wide-eyed nymph. Christmas present is a gorgling giant. The songs for this musical version of Dickens' cautionary tale have been provided by Paul Williams, but the music is seldom memorable. Their laboured lyrics go over many young audiences' heads. A lonely life that paints you with indifference like a lady paints his rouge, Mr. William writes was trying to rhyme Scrooge. Much of the music is on the searchy side, but young children should feel that reasonably well, just as the big crowd, as they enjoy crowd scenes featuring Muppet vegetables and talking toys. Val Staratek's production design offers a droll collection of snowy English rooftops and atmospheric street scenes. Muppets Christmas Carol was co-produced and capably directed by Brian Henson, whose supervision of puppetry and special effects keep the film on par with earlier Muppets efforts. The screenplay by Jerry Jewell is less inventive, and then must cope with the challenges of retelling Dickens in terms that will work to register with young children. In this regard, the film does work well. It brings the story's impact by reinforcing its central message, even if it takes two black and white Muppets Marleys passing the quill-wielding rats of Scrooge's office clerks and a collection of young frogs, pigs in the Cratchit household. This Christmas Carol makes a clear case for kindness and successfully warms the heart. I might just see if I can get up a synopsis.
I reckon I could wing one if we can't.
Okay, I'm gonna see. Okay, this is what the Google AI thing has come up with.
I can do it. That's not even Google AI. That's just the synopsis.
Okay, sometimes.
Okay. The Muppets perform the classic Dickens holiday tale, with Kermit the Frog playing Bob Cratchit, Swan Clerk, stingy Ebenezer Scrooge, Michael Caine. The Muppets, Miss Piggy, Gonzo, Fozzie Bear, and Sam the Eagle weave in and out of the story while Scrooge receives visits from spirits of 3 Christmases, past, present, and future. It's not future, it's yet to come. They show him the error of his self-serving ways, but the miserable old man seems to be past any hope of redemption and happiness. Sure, I guess.
I think this is the best version of not Muppets, of A Christmas Carol. Like, the best adaptation.
I kind of agree.
And I'm being deadly serious.
I think last year when we did the Alan Menken one.
Yes.
I still think that one's really good.
It's good. And it was written for a very specific purpose, that version.
Yeah, but I guess part of it might just be because it's the Muppets and the concept of the Muppets.
Yeah.
Really encapsulates what the concept of A Christmas Carol is. It's really hard because it is one of the most faithful adaptations. Like, it is literally every other line is from the book. There's 2 people that studied the book.
Yes. We tried to let our teachers let us watch this, and they were like, no, we can't watch the Muppets. But it was like, no, we should be studying the Muppets.
I will say, I watched the Muppets Christmas Carol for the first time last year.
Yeah.
And then I immediately forced my entire family to watch it.
Yes.
And we all loved it. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it is.
And for that reason, it's kind of hard to talk about. Because it's just like, yeah, the songs are good. Obviously, the story's good. It's A Christmas Carol.
No cheeses
for us. The
actors
are good.
I mean, Michael Caine was literally like, this is Royal Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Doing Shakespeare right now. And you can tell. I had 2 thoughts while I was watching it again. Because I like to do a yearly rewatch. And my main thought was, what this version gets so right is it doesn't treat the text of A Christmas Carol like it is the best thing ever written.
Yeah.
And in that, they are able to do it so faithfully because they're not afraid of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, I do think I agree that there's a kind of tendency with adaptations of A Christmas Carol to be like, well, this is Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
This is Dickens. We can't fuck this
Dickens.
up. Whereas this one's like, Charles
this is
Dickens,
very serious. This has to
yeah,
have a deep message.
yeah,
And that's like what the Alan Menken one does pretty well, is that it's pretty serious. Like, it's still fun to watch and engaging.
yeah.
Ultimately, the tone of it is the same with the book, is that this is a lesson to be learned.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Muppets does still get that. Like, it
Yeah,
is teaching you something. But I mean, like, Christmas Carol is meant to be an oral thing.
yeah,
It's meant to be something you'd read out loud. And
yeah,
I think even just the choice to have a Muppet as Dickens and
yeah,
have someone he's telling the story to,
yeah.
it's just such a small change, but
Mm-hmm.
it really like makes story work.
No, it does. Because they're able to just kind of like have all of this direct quote, like direct speech, and not have it feel old or weighed down or scary.
Yeah.
Like,
I also think it works really well as a kids movie.
mm-hmm.
Because like multiple times throughout, they're like, "Well, that was really dark." Anyways, here's Gonzo.
Here's Gonzo and Rizzo the Rat to tell some jokes and also teach you some Dickens.
Yeah, it is just really good.
It's
Like, it's kind of hard to talk about it.
it's so amazing what they are able to do with this. And yes, it is not a carbon copy. And did you see the BBC series of A Christmas Carol?
I knew of it.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It took itself far too seriously.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, A Christmas Carol is a short novella that was written
Yeah.
because Charles Dickens needed to get himself out of some debt. We don't need to be doing all that. And like,
Yeah.
my one thing where I'm like, I would be intrigued to see what the take would be on this would be around the workhouses.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's the fucking Muppets, so we can't have like, I don't know, Fozzie Bear in a workhouse.
I'm not even shitting you right now. I think Jack is trying to learn how to whistle. Which, okay.
That's definitely a choice.
Sure.
I wonder what.
Like, I feel like when we were talking last year about Alan Menken's Christmas Carol, is that I do feel like we had things to say because it was like, oh, here's like how they've adapted this thing into a song.
Yeah.
Here's how they like chosen to do this character. Whereas I feel like with Muppets, I don't know if this is gonna come up wrong. It seems like they didn't make those choices. It's literally the entire plot of it is basically spoken, and then they have a few fun songs.
And don't get me wrong, Scrooge, banger.
Yeah. Like, I think the Alan Menken Christmas Carol has like the song A Place Called Home, which is a
Yes.
plot point. Like, it's brought up throughout. That song is a plot point within itself.
And it has like a musical motif that runs throughout.
Like, Alan Menken's Christmas Carol is a musical.
Yes.
And I feel like we did specifically choose this because we wanted a really easy one to do.
And also,
And I feel like the issue is it's too easy.
I do like a Muppets Christmas Carol. And also next week, guys, we are going to be talking for a while.
Yeah. I flew back home yesterday.
Yeah, Nell's been
Today,
away.
actually. If we're getting specific about it, I flew back today.
Yeah,
Landed today. So I'm a little bit tired.
that's
So if
fine.
I want to say the Muppets Christmas Carol is really good, and that's it, you have to let me.
If I want to sit around and say the Muppets Christmas Carol is one of the best adaptations of all time, I have a friend who tutors children English, and
Hmm.
when they study Christmas Carol, she tells them to watch this version.
Yeah. It's also stuff like the and Tiny Tim who did not die.
Yeah,
Like, that's just a line from the book.
and like people
That's
will.
something they added for the Muppets. That is a line from the book.
That is a
And it's
line.
said in the same way if you were reading this book to your family,
Yes.
how you would present it to your kids.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, Tiny Tim.
Did
who
not
did not
die.
die.
Yeah.
Like, it's meant to be a fun thing to read.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I just think it's kind of like the perfect choice for a Muppets movie.
It is, and I really do love the Muppets. However,
I do love the Muppets.
it's just like it's perfect and it makes it approachable. And again, they do have like that was dark, but they're also not afraid to go dark, which I think is and yes, they don't do ignorance and want.
Yeah, which I think is an integral part of the story.
Yeah.
But I feel a bit bad saying this because I think it's one of the things I critiqued last year.
We had a long discussion about ignorance and want, but also I think that they're very different purposes.
Yeah. Like I struggle to see how you can do ignorance and want in a way that is
Muppet
Muppet and
friendly.
child friendly.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like I think this is also the thing of I don't really see a way to do a visualization of ignorance and want.
In this, yes.
It is one of the things that like in the book, I can't even like remember what the exact description of them is. They're like childlike figures who are really
Yeah. They're like malnourished children.
but in the same way, they're also described as really horrifying.
Yes,
Not
they
just
are.
like being like, oh my God, how could humanity let this get that bad? But as like looking at them and being like, fuck, these things will kill us.
Yes.
And that's like, you can't really put that to screen.
No.
And you also can't really do it on stage.
Well, you could do a sick puppet.
You probably could. But I think it's one of those things of how do you translate that in the right way? Because
Mm,
my interpretation of it is
hmm
that it is these two like malnourished, dying children
Yeah.
that are horrifying because they're not doing anything. That thinking, if I was in this situation, I would fight back. I would try and like survive.
hmm
And realizing, actually, me specifically, Scrooge, has let it get to the point where if I was in charge, everyone would be like this.
Yeah, and also,
I
I
would not
mean,
give them anything.
it is just a further representation of the levels of poverty.
Yeah. And it's like discussing like what do you think ignorance and want is? Why do we need to fear ignorance more than want?
Yes.
Like how are ignorance and want even linked?
Yeah.
I'm so happy we didn't get like an essay question of it when we were doing a Christmas Carol.
Um,
I love to talk about it. I think it's
can't
really
write an essay.
interesting. But it is so hard to like pin down.
Yeah, because I think it was always again, who knows, Dickens is dead. Fun fact. Yeah, it's hard to do. But the one they don't I mean, Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is a hard part to do in every adaptation.
But they do it very well in Muppets.
They do it very well in Muppets. And they also do the other creepy detail is the selling of the goods of Scrooge's
Yeah.
stuff. They do that and they have the conversation of I think it's the pigs saying, "Oh, because they had them earlier on be like, oh, we'll be going to that. That was such a good lunch." And then they bring them back for Christmas Yet to Come, being like, is there going to be a lunch served? And it's played off as a joke like it was the first time, but it's even more creepy because he's dead.
Yeah. Like I think Muppets I think the obvious issue with the Muppets Christmas Carol is that all of it is very obvious
Yes.
because it's a kids movie. Like
Yes.
you're never gonna get a video that's like, did you miss these secret messages in a Muppets Christmas
Do you
Carol?
miss the symbolism in a Muppets Christmas Carol?
Yeah. Like they're not really gonna do that.
No.
Like I think it would be very fun if they did. I would sit here and be like, here's what they meant when they did this.
Oh yes, yes.
But I think ultimately that it's the same way the book is.
Mm-hmm.
The book doesn't really try and hide anything.
No.
Like you're not meant to be like, well, actually, when he says this, what he
Yeah.
means, or like what he's referencing,
Yeah.
going to
Like
be laid out.
there's no deep literary references in A Muppet's Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
It was made for the masses, and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. But I think because we view it as a classic, we've almost made it pretentious.
I feel like that's been a theme around like maybe it's just because I don't say it often. I do just remember saying it a lot this year. But being like, it's okay for a musical or a piece of media
To not be that deep.
to just be good.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need to have a deeper like obviously A Christmas Carol in general does have a deeper meaning.
You have to kind of like intellectualize it a bit to get there.
Yeah. But that like at a very surface level, you get what A Christmas Carol is about.
Yes.
It's the same with like Hairspray. You know, no one is sitting here and being like, we need to overhaul a Muppets Christmas Carol. It's outdated. Like
It's
obviously, yeah,
expensive.
it kind of is.
I mean, yeah, the animation's kind of weird and like obviously looks all very fake,
Yeah.
but what can you expect?
And also being like, this isn't like enough, Being like, this isn't cutting it. Our kids need to know more. No one's saying that because it's a Muppets Christmas Carol. It's good. It's allowed to be fun.
Yeah.
It's again, I don't want to sound like I did in Hairspray, but I was like imagining that people were angry about Hairspray and then being like, let me defend it.
I cannot. I opened it as. No, so I cannot. I remember. Yeah, I remember what I was on about. Yeah. No, I mean, what's there else to say? It puts me in the warm Christmas spirit every single time I watch it,
It's just
which is
really
often.
good.
The whole line of "There's magic in the air tonight. There's only one more sleep until Christmas." That is actually amazing.
Yeah.
Unironically. And that's all I have left, guys, because I'm so tired.
I'm so tired, man. I love Muppets at Christmas Carol. I love
Love
the
the
Muppets.
Muppets. Love the Muppets. What have they done to Muppet 3D?
Bring it back.
Bring it back. I would literally die to go to the Miss Piggy statue. I love Miss
Real.
Piggy. I think she's just so fun. I love Miss Piggy. Is Miss Piggy still on Twitter, or has Elon Musk taken that away from us as well?
I think she might still be on Twitter.
Miss Piggy. Yes, she is, thank God. I'm still following her. Well, she hasn't tweeted since International Women's Day.
Well, she's an icon.
She used to tweet every so often. I mean, there's this amazing photo of her in like French, looking like some kind of like French girl from the 50s. I love Miss Piggy. Come back to Twitter. Now, next week, you know what's coming. You know what's happening. It's the end of year review. Would have seen 18 shows this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't have seen that many.
Thank you for that. So yeah, what are we going to be talking about next? What are some shows? Great Comet. You'll get our review of Great Comet at the Dartnall.
Yeah, my review of Ballet Shoes.
Ballet Shoes. You would have been fresh off of seeing Ballet Shoes when we record.
Yeah, I know. It'll be good.
It'll be good.
Maybe open Mezzanine and see what else we can expect.
Starlight. I'm going to talk about Starlight. Next to Normal for
Next to Normal.
We're doing a 5-minute timer for Next to Normal.
Hadestown, the big one.
Okay, I think the way that we should do Hadestown is I should start from the beginning of my relationship with Hadestown and explain how we got to this point.
Are we doing Star Kid?
Star Kid? Yeah, Star Kid. I'm going to talk about Bear. I don't think I've talked about Bear on here properly. And I have a lot of thoughts, feelings, and opinions on that. Have you seen Phantom this year?
I have.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I'm going to talk about Les Mis as well.
I saw it for my sister's birthday.
Yeah, I figured it was something like that. Cabaret.
Are we doing Hamnet this year?
Yeah, because we missed it last year, so we're doing it this year.
Do I get to do the Nutcracker this year?
Yes, you can talk about the Nutcracker.
Yes!
Because I'm also going to talk about Time Traveler's Wife.
I think I will see The Tempest this year, but I'm seeing it the same day we saw Hamnet last year, so it'll be in next year.
Yeah, it'll be in next year's one. I'm excited to talk about Hadestown at length.
Again.
Well, no, because I think the way that we should do Hadestown is I'm going to start back in like 2018 when it was at the National and be like, I was aware of it then. Didn't care.
Well, I reckon we'll do it the same way we did it last year.
Yeah.
Which is the tier list.
We're going to do a tier list, and I was thinking about what my ratings are going to be for this.
Yeah.
Because I have to individually rank every time I saw Hades.
Yeah, I make Esme do each one individually. I don't think I've seen a single show twice this year.
Yes, you have.
Hadestown, you're right.
Yeah. I was like, we've seen Hadestown together twice.
How many times have you seen it alone?
4.
Or without me?
Twice. I'm not a loser. I was really holding space for Donald Finn's Orpheus, and I couldn't listen to the cast recording. So what about it? Oh no, my intense Hadestown watching over the summer was a symptom of a mental illness, I do have to say. It was either that or go to Next to Normal, and I couldn't do that. Anyway, also I'm going to talk about Mean Girls briefly. I don't have much to say, but I'm not speaking about it on here. We will see you guys for the last episode of the year next week. And then we're taking 2 weeks off. Bye-bye!
Bye!